Hello. How's everybody doing? Okay. So when you see me, comment, let me know that you see me. Comment and press play. I'll be watching the comments, but there is a little bit of a delay in what you see and what I see. So there is a little bit of a delay, so I won't be able to answer your questions right away, but I'll for sure get back to them, as I see them, and I will. Video unavailable. Hold on. Going live is always tricky. Let's see. I know I'm live. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So Britta and Stacy see me. So like I said, there is a little bit of a delay. So it's awkward because you guys will say something and I won't react to it right away. So Andrea, see if you can access the YouTube video directly and maybe that'll work. If not, then that's gonna be a bummer. Andrea, you can also try your phone. I'm gonna type here. Okay, so I'm gonna be done typing for now so that it's not awkward and you guys don't hear me on the video because so yeah. All right, ready? So I'm about to tell you about the books that I think are awesome for the summer. So here we go. First of all, I figured I would do like the educational books first. So first one is Why Not Learn to Speak Spanish? I'm going to be using this one for my kids. The way that it works is that you have these cards in here and you put them inside here. You slide them in. Let me get this. All right. So you have this little card. You slide it in and you press go. And then you, did I turn it off? These do have an on and off switch. So that's kind of nice. Here you go. Now it's on. And then they just push the button and they can hear the words. So it's really nice because I do really like the accent on here. There's not, too much of an accent or anything like that. It's easy to listen to and it's very, very cool. So that's one of the books that I think would be really fun. Now, speaking of learning something new, here's something that I tried with Annabelle. It's the embroidery kits, and the way it works, it has the ring and the cloth and the string in there, and it gives you specific instructions on how to do everything. And it's really simple. It is really fun, and this is a nice one for adults too. So there are lots of different versions. There's the owl, unicorn. I think there's a fairies. There's a flamingo, and mermaid as well. So this is even good for adults. Now, the STEM scribble books. I know some of you guys have seen these before. There's math, there's inventions, engineering, and science. And these are really nice for older kids who need some activities. And, you don't want them to be bored this summer, but you also want them to learn. One of the things is that I've been really like having a hard time trying to figure out how much I should do as far as learn because they've missed so much in school. So I'm really trying to focus on having educational activities for them at home without it feeling like school. So anyway, here's some examples of what you'll see in here. How to find pi, but it's in nice diagrams and illustrations. Brain twisters. How to do these factors of numbers. Anyway, it's really fun activities for the kids who really like science and math and engineering. Now, speaking of also science, the Academy series, some of you have seen these as well. They are really neat because they have cutouts and they have a little chart. This vet one has a model of a horse that you can make. Anyway, you travel through the chart, the progress chart on how you're doing on becoming a vet. And there's also scientist, entrepreneur, architect, and engineer. So there's a whole bunch of different kinds in this series. But like I said, they complete a challenge and they earn a task sticker. And then as they get through, then they would be allowed into the academy because they succeeded in completing all of the challenges. And then this is my most favorite nonfiction book, the encyclopedia for the children's encyclopedia. I love it because it has amazing illustrations and it has QR codes. So I don't know about you guys, but my kids are totally addicted to electronics right now, but it is what it is. Now, this at least allows them to use electronics, but they are still learning. So, for example, if we were talking about Egyptian mummies or ancient Egypt, you go and scan the QR code, and then it has videos, how mummies are made, all kinds of cool videos and activities so that they can have the book part of it and the electronic part of it. But I love that. And my kids love everything that has to do with electronics right now. So why not go with what they love, right? All right, for activity books, if any of you are taking any trips, which I figure at the moment, the way things are going, the only kinds of trips people are going to be doing are road trips. So here is 100 things to do on a car trip. This is a little activity pad with like puzzles, word search, and drawing. Find stuff in the picture, Sudoku. But it's really fun and it's only $5.99. Fits perfect like in a little, in the pocket in the car. And then you guys might be familiar with the 100 things for little children to do on a trip. These I love because they're really versatile as far as age goes. Like there's enough activities in here for younger and older kids. And by older, I'd say probably up through like 3rd grade. Because there's some drawing and open-ended questions, pattern completion, drawing. So here's a word activity. So those are really fun. And then there's also the Never Get Bored cards now. These are for a little bit older kids. So the 100 Things for Little Children to Do is for younger. And then there is Never Get Bored cards, which have more they have a mix of activities, but also games that you can play with people. So trivia, there's educational like question type of games, and those type of games where you have to like match the or like figure out how to make a chain in the squares. So I like that this one can be used over and over again because it is activities and games that kids can do together. All right, the activity pads are really neat. We have a lot more that came out this season. Hi, Jan. This is the fairies activity pad, but there's also a dinosaur and a unicorn one. And the type of things that are in here are, again, like little activities for them to think through. So like draw around two groups in the picture below. Spot three differences. Mazes. Draw around the cupcake that is not one of the matching pair. So they're really fun and colorful, and it's really nice for kids who love a certain theme. That'll give them an exciting activity to do that is related to things that they love. Okay. Now, some of you may be familiar with the 100 paper airplanes to fold and fly. This one has been keeping my kids busy like for the last 2 weeks. And I love that there are a lot of different options for these. There's also bugs and dinosaurs or pterodactyls. And then there's a second paper airplane book as well. But the way it works for those of you that may not be familiar with them it has cool paper in there, and the paper itself will tell you what type of airplane it corresponds to. And then you go to the front and there are instructions for different types of airplanes. And so then you fold them like you're meant to, and then you fly them and they look really cool. So my kids are enjoying that, and that'll be a nice activity for them to do outside. Now, white clean books are my favorite because I can just give it to them and they just go and do the activity, or they just go and scribble, and I know that they're not coloring on anything that they're not supposed to. I am using starting cursive for Annabelle, my oldest. So this is nice because, the white cleans, you might think that they're for little younger kids, but they're not all for younger kids. And again, they have some scribbling that you can do, or doodling, I guess I should say, but then also educational, how to do cursive writing. There are tons of themes in this. Plus, there are also activity type of white clean books, which, like, for example, instead of them coming in the cards, you would have a white clean activity book. And then if you want an educational one, the word books are great for younger kids to practice their letters and their spelling. So there are a handful of word books. This is the Things That Go word book, but there's also an outdoor word book. And there are also mini versions. Now, the mini versions you can't get through the website, but if you want to know what the mini versions are, let me know and I can get these for you on my end. They are only $3.50 and they have the same content as the larger ones. So these are, nice for on the go. This 1, 2, 3 is similar to like what our ABC ones would be. And it has the number, the letter one would have the letters. And then also it has some areas where they can just doodle and spend time on. Here is another book that I'm really excited to use with my kids. When we talk about, different topics, we're going to practice drawing this summer. So the animals, how to draw animals, they can enjoy and learn doing animal drawings. It's really easy and simple. Anybody can do it. Okay, Cheryl, I'll let you know about the mini wipes. And but I'm excited because I can also kind of use this as a way to plan for like not a lesson, but just, we can talk about dolphins, and it'll be exciting because it gives me an easy activity that we can already have on hand, which would be to practice drawing. Same with the people. The people one is really neat because, people are hard to draw. And so I like this one has descriptions, and then it also has in the bigger picture what else you could draw to draw your landscape picture. So here's what it looks like. As you can see, it's very easy for kids to be able to do. Who remembers Fortune Tellers. I am excited about this one. Annabelle's going to love it. And so I can see this one being really used a lot this summer. Some of the fortune tellers in here have words already in them, but I did notice that some of them are open-ended for them to be able to put in their stuff. So sounds good, Andrea. I'll let you know about the mini wipes too. So I love that this one you can actually use it for them to practice writing, even that little bit, you know, write out things that people can choose with their fortune tellers. And I can imagine that they're going to be playing with that a lot. Here's a new book that came out this spring that I love. Hi, Nicole. The Stained Glass Unicorn book. The way that it works, and this one is $5.99, so it's a really good value. The way that it works, you've got this sheet in here to make it not bleed through. And then you have like this vellum type of paper. You color it with felt tip pens or pencils or crayons. And then you color on it, and then they can rip the page out, and it'll be like a stained glass window. So I love, you know, that it's a really fun activity, unique and different, something that they don't do often, and then they can display it on their windows. All right. For the older kids, right now is a great time to buy one of the mindful books, mindfulness books. This one is called Be Brave. It's for young people who sometimes feel scared or afraid. There's also No Worries, which is for anxiety, and there is Be Happy for kids who get sad or angry sometimes. But it gives them like writing prompts, but also guides them to work through their feelings and how, you know, to understand them and types of activities, techniques to deal with their feelings. But I just think these are just fantastic right now with what everybody is going through, you know. Now, they are obviously, I think these would be better for older kids who can do their own reading and writing, but it can be for younger kids also who might, you know, you can guide them through it. Andrea, your question, can you add the unicorn stained glass book to the cart to star, or how do we add to our star list? Okay, question about the star list. So on here on Squee, through the video, you'll be able to star things that you see. You'll find them in the shopping cart area. And that way you don't need to go to the shopping site to you know, get off of Squee and miss the video. And then at the end, you can go from Squee to the website and add them over there. So just add them to Squee on here, and then you'll be able to add them to your actual shopping cart later. So anything you put into the star, you're not actually buying at the moment. So it's okay to star, you know, all of the books. So again, speaking of writing, this is a great one for older kids too. A Year in My Life. And this has writing prompts for every single day of the year. For example, imagine that tonight you could sleep in the best bed in the world. What would it look like? I've had a hard time with my kids wanting to do any type of writing while they've been off of school. So I am excited to use this for their writing prompts because they're just not excited about writing. Here's another one. What's the first sentence you said today? Write it down. So really nice, simple, easy things to do with them because I know I'm having a hard time having them practice writing. Okay, final activity book, and then I'm going to tell you about a couple chapter books. Origami Dinosaurs. There is also a generic origami book too. These have 75 sheets in here, and then an instruction book on how to make dinosaurs. How cool is that? And again, you know, it might take a little help for some of the younger kids, but they don't make them very difficult. And it's going to be one of those things that they can do as an activity and then play with them for a while. All right. I wanted to cover some of the chapter books because I know we have a little bit younger or older kids too. So here are the ones that my kids are loving this summer. And they are all new releases. So here you go. Lightning Girl. This one is about this little girl who discovers that she has superpowers and that her mom does too. So she inherited them from her mom. And Annabelle thought this book was really awesome. She flew through it. So it's very action-packed and interesting. And it's a nice length too. It does have just a few illustrations in there, so not too many, but just enough to keep the story exciting and engaging. Okay, I am loving this series. Oop. We're gonna go back. Hang on. Hold on. All right. Let's see if you guys can see me. Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay, looks like you guys can still see me. Sorry about that. I'm back. All right. So I am loving this series, the Extraordinary Life of series. This is the Malala, Anne Frank, and Neil Armstrong books. There is also a couple others. I'm trying to remember the names, but they'll come to me. But they're so neat. They're very educational, but Annabelle flew right through these as well. They have lots of pictures. I like that it's nonfiction, but very engaging and interesting, and it's not too long either. It has not just their story of their life, but also just facts about them and random tidbits about them that it's really neat, and then quotes about them. So this is a great way to get kids into biographies, and they're really, really interesting. I'm totally going to be reading some of those this summer as well for myself. And then the Travels of Hermine. This little, I don't know what she is, I don't know what kind of animal she is, but anyway, she goes to London, Sydney, and New York. And she has all kinds of adventures. There are 3 stories in here. So it's nice that you don't have to read the whole book, you know. It's a little bit overwhelming with the thickness of it. So kids, can know that they are 3 stories in one book. But then once they do get through it, it's going to be really cool because, it's a nice big long book. It does have lots of illustrations. So I would recommend this for maybe 2nd grade and up because of the thickness of it. But it's the level of it is not hard to get through. Okay, now one final thing I wanted to cover, and then we're all done with the books. And if you guys have any questions on specific things, let me know, and I can make sure to cover them at the end. But I wanted to talk about teacher gifts. It's coming up, and for me, I'm totally like, what day of the week is it? And what time of the month is it? Like, I have no idea where we're at because nobody's at school, and I'm so confused with the times. But it's about time to start thinking about teacher gifts if you haven't already. And I wanted to tell you about one of my favorites. So this is the box of awesome. And it's this really nice reusable box that teachers can use. Whew, almost lost it. And it has postcards in there. The postcards are postcards that they can send to their children in their classroom. So have the best day ever. Well done. And I can imagine that if you give this to a teacher now, they're going to definitely get some use out of it for the kids that they had to let go of, before the school year ended. So you are awesome. You did it. You're terrific. And there are little postcards that they can send to the kids as awards. And then they also have specific awards that they can use in their classroom. This one is "You are awesome," and they can use it for whatever they want to. Keep up the good work. I like that they are kind of open-ended. That way they can use them for whatever their needs are. You are brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. And so they can write on here what the award is for the child. So I like that it's definitely something they'll get good use out of. It also has bookmarks that they can give as prizes for the kids. So here they are. It has a whole bunch. I mean, do you guys see how thick this pile is? Every book is an adventure. Start reading here. this book belongs to. Happy reading. So those are some of the few. And then finally, a big, huge stack of stickers. Well done. You are great. 10 out of 10. Awesome. Super. Wow. And there's a few different versions. So this box is $30. You can get it on the website, and it is definitely something that I'll be giving the teachers for my kids, because I know that they'll definitely get good use out of it. And the other thing I was going to say was that it's nice they'll be able to reuse it and, keep it for the years ahead. Okay. Now, the final books that I was going to tell you that make great gifts for kids or for teachers, are books that have great messages. So, Tale of Two Beasts, if you're not familiar with this one talks about two different sides of the story and shows how, you might see the story one way, but it might be different to another person. Jessica's Box is about a little girl who's on a wheelchair, and I love that it, teaches kids about diversity and how we are all unique no matter who we are. And this one, Red, 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 is a great one for preschoolers and kindergarten. It's about this little boy who has a hard time. He's throwing a tantrum. He's having a hard time. And then his mom helps him count to 10 and relax and breathe. So it's a good one that teachers can use in their classroom over and over again every year to teach that. And finally, the Shine a Light books. I think you guys probably all know how to use the Shine a Light books. You shine the light under the page and find the hidden pictures. This is one of my books that I like to give my kids as teachers. Here you go. Let's see if you can see that. Because they can reuse them in their classroom, every year as a reward for kids to be able to use that. And every teacher I've ever given those to think they are amazing. So those are the books that I wanted to tell you guys about. If there are any questions, let me know. The next few slides are going to come up, and they're going to tell you about the specials. We'll talk about hosting, because I'm finding that a lot of people are really excited to host because of the times. Everybody's online. Everybody needs books at home. And so they are excited to do that. So then you get to hear about it as well. And then you get to go shopping, and I'll be here to answer questions. Like I told Andrea, you can star things on Squee, and then at the end, you can add them to your shopping cart on the Usborne site. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here, and I will continue chatting with you. Thank you for coming, and I'm excited that you're here. All right, let me stop this live.